and I just can't do it. And I thought, man, maybe it might be easier not to do it. I should probably just find something else. I'll still bowl. It'll still be fun, but I don't think I should do this for a living because I'm just not good in that moment. And I went, you know what? Maybe I don't have to be perfect. Maybe I just got to get a little lucky sometimes, learn from every time, and just remember, be grateful. Like, I almost had a 9-to-5 job. I nearly went back home and got a job, and that would have made me miserable. So I'm glad I didn't listen to myself when I was at the brink of quitting.
Welcome to the When the Lanes Come On YouTube channel. I am Blair Blumenscheid. I work for Storm Bowling. We're at the SYC Las Vegas, and I've got all of the kids right to my right, and we're going to introduce them. So go ahead.
Gianna Brandolino.
Keegan Alexander.
Morgan Klein.
I'm Abby Starkey.
Micah Voorhis.
Rylan Brees.
And they're here to do another episode of the Shaker Board, and our special guest is Jason Belmonte.
G'day, how you going? Happy to be here with you guys. I'm going to sit down if that's all right with you.
And we're going to turn it over to the kids. So whoever wants to go first.
Okay. What is it like bowling internationally?
Well, that's actually a pretty good question. So each part of the world is a little bit different. Like where I'm from, Australia, it's probably a little more similar to here in the US, but we are way more laid back about bowling. So when I first came over here, everyone was trying to beat each other up, right? They all want to win. They all don't care about anybody. We're back home. It's a little bit more friendly, a little bit more, let's go get a drink after the game type of atmosphere. You go through Asia, and bowling is really considered a sport through Asia. A lot of the governments fund their national teams with millions of dollars, so they treat it like a proper sport. And that's also really cool as well, because you get to experience what it's like when you're in the mainstream media over there. So that was a lot of fun too. Europe is also a little bit like Oz in here. It's very laid back. It's just a beautiful part of the world. So I think the thing I like most about Europe is within a 4-hour drive, you're in a completely different place for some of it. And each city, each country in Europe does make bowling a little bit different. So Scandinavia, as an example, super competitive. They have different formats for leagues. Like for us, our league is like 3 nights a week or 3 games or whatever it is. Over there, it's a bit more like your regular sport. You have home and away matches, you have a team, you're on a leaderboard, and then you have like a playoffs at the end. It's the best experience bowling that I've ever done. So that's Scandinavia. And then you can go through other parts. I could talk forever about bowling all over the world, but it's a lot of fun. You got to do it. Just get on a plane.
How do you prepare for national tour events?
Before I come over here or while I'm over here?
I guess both.
Okay. So usually when I'm home, I try not to touch a bowling ball as much as I possibly can. I'm away so much that when I do go home, I just want to be a dad, just want to be a husband, a mate, a brother and a son. So I usually can go a few months sometimes without touching a ball, but as I'm coming towards the season, I usually start to ramp up my session. So within 3 months of coming on tour, I'll start to just ease into it, and then usually the last month, it's a few times a week, multiple hours. And then the last week or so, last 2 weeks, it's every day, sharpening up everything for a few hours each day. So I'm a firm believer in you can do something too much. So I like to put the brakes on sometimes and just set it aside and come back to it later. I know there are some players that are like, if I take a week off, I lose it. So they have to keep bowling all the time, and that would drive me insane. So I enjoy the time off. When I'm over here, you need to have a really great short-term memory, because sometimes you can get overconfident and you think, well, this is easy. I'm going to come out here and win all the time. And then you're playing against the best in the world, and then they smash you. And then you realize, actually, this is still really difficult. But if you have a bad week, you can't hang on to it. You've got to be able to say, man, that was a bad week. That's done. I've got to reset and start again for the next event. So if you have a really good short-term memory, it helps you prepare for each event. And sleep as much as you can, because we bowl so much, we get tired. So yeah, you try and sleep.
How do you mentally prepare for events?
I just be me. You know, I try not to be any different. I think it's really important to remember why you're doing it. Before every event, you've got to remember, I'm here, got my laces on, this is where I want to be, this is what makes me happy, this is joy. And yeah, you can have bad days and it doesn't feel like joy, it doesn't feel happy, but I tell you, averaging 180 on tour is still better than any 9-to-5 job in the world. So you always got to remember that. You've got to be grateful for where you are. Helps me mentally anyway.
So every tournament that you bowl, which ones is your favorite and why?
I mean, I love the majors. Yeah, I love them. There's just there's a different atmosphere about them when you walk into the building and you know this is for a major championship, especially on show day. It's, you know, when you hear that saying like there's a buzz in the air, there's that feeling that you can cut the atmosphere with a knife. It's exactly how it is, especially in major days. So I think walking into any pro event that's got the letter M after it, it's got that little extra feeling for me.
So have there ever been any times that you felt like quitting? And if so, how did you come back from that?
Yeah, one time. I was a long time ago. I was probably maybe 19. It was actually in this city, Las Vegas. So I was playing these amateur events. They're really cutthroat, 1-game matches, and then if you win, you progress. Sweepers, that were 2 games, but there's a lot of money on the line. And for like 3 or 4 days in a row, every time I had a chance to win the match or win the sweeper or do something really good with a strike, I missed. And I remember coming off the lanes going, because I was an amateur at the time, I was like, man, if I want to do this for my job, like to make money, then I got to be able to like strike when you need it. And I just can't do it. And then I thought, man, maybe it might be easier not to do it. I should probably just find something else. I'll still bowl. It'll still be fun, but I don't think I should do this for a living because I'm just not good in that moment. And then the next day, I remember thinking, let's just give it another day. Let's just see. And I know this doesn't sound like I completely quit, but it was at this tournament where I'd really had enough of it. It happened many times before this tournament, but it just kind of built up to now. And I remember I needed a strike to win, and I got lucky. I went Brooklyn and I won. And I went, you know what? Maybe I don't have to be perfect. Maybe I just got to get a little lucky sometimes. And over time, maybe I'll get better at this. So that Brooklyn strike kind of just let me relax about the 10th frame, knowing I don't have to be perfect to strike. I can actually make an error and still strike. As long as I give myself an opportunity to get there, I have a chance to actually win. So after that event, I remember saying, you know what? It doesn't matter if you don't strike, if you do strike, learn from every time and just remember, be grateful. Like, I almost had a 9-to-5 job. I nearly went back home and got a job and that would have made me miserable. So I'm glad I didn't listen to myself when I was at the brink of quitting.
All right, so as far as the fans go on tour, where do you think they're the most supportive and most electrifying?
Yeah, wow. That's a really good question. There really isn't a city that we go to where the fans aren't pumped up that we're there. Again, especially on show days when we sell out every show, the fans are super loud. I would probably, though, have to say that the craziest fans we have are in Portland, Maine, where, you know, they tailgate, they dress up in costumes. Yeah, you would think you're going to, someone's 21st birthday party, to be honest, and not a pro bowling event. And we players love it. We absolutely love it because we feed off the energy from the crowd. When it's really quiet and kind of low key, we don't usually rise up and make it loud, and we tend to fall into that same vibe that everyone else has given us. So when they're screaming at you in a chicken suit, yeah, you usually act a little bit more like a chicken, right? You do a little crazy stuff yourself.
When you come from Australia, do you bring bowling balls from there or do you get new ones drilled here?
So I usually have 2 urethane balls that I've used for 6 years and a spare ball. Those balls will probably be buried with me by the time I'm done. I love those 3 balls, so they always come with me. But everything else, I usually just drill on site. So it can get a little expensive drilling and getting new balls everywhere you go, but Storm is such an amazing partner of mine, and they pretty much give me whatever I need. So it makes it a lot easier traveling from Australia with 9 bowling balls and a suitcase and backpacks, and it's no fun.
On tour, is there a certain ball reaction you look for? Or a certain ball you like to go to?
Yeah, I'm always looking to split the 8-9, right? I mean, we bowl in such a variety of patterns that if you fall into the category of, I just want to do this one thing, that's all I want to do, well, the pattern won't always let you do it. And I've really made a point in my own game to get so versatile and to be as accurate as possible playing any board of the lane, because I want to be able to find the necessary ball motion for that particular shot, for that particular frame in that tournament. And if I have to move and adjust and change ball, then so be it. And I think a lot of people tend to get really, really good at something. And they go, I just want to do that because I know I'm really good at it. And the lane says, not today, I'm not going to let you do that. And they suffer for it. So I tend to try to see whatever is necessary and play accordingly.
How does being away from your family so much affect you?
It's brutal. It's really hard. It's the hardest part of my job. At least now you get an opportunity to use FaceTime and you can communicate with them, but it's obviously not the same as giving them a hug after you win or after you play bad. It's probably the reason why I won't be a senior PBA tour player. I can't envision myself being a 50-year-old guy still traveling from Australia, competing on the senior tour. So yeah, it's difficult, really hard.
So I see all over your social media that you're like a big shoe guy. How did you get into liking shoes so much?
Yeah, that was an expensive habit I've picked up, let me tell you. It was only a couple of years ago, I started working with a shoe company to make some bowling shoes, which maybe shouldn't really be saying it, but maybe I can let you guys have the scoop. So this year we're going to bring out a shoe with 3G. And then in the future, we're going to bring out multiple models. So I said, what, I should probably research a lot about shoes, because I want to know what I'm building with the company. And one of my tour reps, his name is Sean Ryan, and I knew he was really into shoes. So I said, hey, Sean, can you point me in the right direction? Where should I be researching? What should I be doing? And, he gave me pretty much a crash course. And then I went off, and before I knew it, thousands of dollars were out of my account, and there was 75 pairs of shoes in my house now. So, and before that, I would wear one pair of shoes until the sole fell off. That was me, and now I'm fascinated by it. So the whole shoe culture is incredible. It really is. I know it sounds silly if you're not into it. None of my family are into it. So when I try and explain it to them, they're like, you sound weird, talking like this about shoes. I'm like, no, but shoes are beautiful. The people are awesome. So now that I'm involved in the shoe culture, I want to bring that culture to bowling. I want to make our bowling shoes kind of mirror that culture. And I think that's one part of our game that it's so cool. Our shoes are so cool. Let's make them even better.
So do you enjoy any other sports besides bowling?
Every single sport. Except American football. Mainly because I don't know the rules. Okay, all I do is I see that flag go in the air. I don't know why, but then there's a yellow flag on the ground. And then even when the referee says what the penalty is for, I still don't know what he's talking about. So every other sport I play. I really do. I play squash, tennis, golf, basketball, rugby, soccer, cricket. I play them regularly. Touch football, badminton, ping pong. If it's got a ball and I can hit it or catch it or throw it, I play it. So, and it's great because my son is also athletic and he loves to catch things and kick things and break things. So we tend to get into trouble together, you know, breaking windows when we shouldn't, or, you know, walls, dinting walls with balls inside the house. So we just need to we need to blame, we always try to blame one of the other kids. Like, it wasn't us, it was her.
What is your favorite meal to eat in Australia?
Well, I have Italian heritage. My grandparents, my parents were born in Italy. So my main diet back home is very Italian based. My grandmother, and she would, well, it's the truth anyway, but she would kill me if I didn't say it. Like, she makes this lasagna. When I tell you, it just takes you to Italy. It just takes you there. Just the other day, actually, my parents had just finished making their own sauces. So we predominantly like that style of food. So I would have to say my grandmother's lasagna, which is true. No, it's true. Okay, I'm not lying. It actually is true. But she would kill me if I didn't say it.
Thank you all. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next vlog.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Okay.